Welcome to the Smart CEO Smart Chat. I am Kyra Hardwick, and I am thrilled to be here with you. Thanks for tuning in. We hope that this episode will be an incredible influence on the way that you do the work that you do every day. So whether you're a smart CEO, working from home, working from the office, simply navigating your life and family, whatever it is, today's the day you made a great decision to tune into our podcast and get this smart talk. So let's dig in.
Welcome back to yet another episode of the SmartCEO Podcast. I am today's host, Alena Conley, and I am the program manager for the SmartCEO Capacity Builder Cohort. I am also the senior director for coaching and people development at the Kyra Company. And I am excited to be joined today by one of our cohort members, LeRoy Willis, who is also CEO of the LeRoy Willis Realty Company. Welcome to the show.
Hey, thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So I would love to know how you decided to become an entrepreneur versus taking more of the 9-to-5 route.
That's very interesting. I graduated from Illinois State, and my degree is in criminal justice and sociology. My dream was to be a U.S. Marshal or a federal agent. I was always intrigued about forensic science, finding clues and trying to get to the truth of solving crimes or whatever it may be. But I was pushed in this direction because of my past. As a kid, I was really unstable, and I lived in a lot of different places, a lot of different family members and friends. So I moved around so much so that all I ever wanted as a kid was my own bedroom, my friends who had their own bedroom. And because of the desire of wanting my own bedroom, it pushed my passion and my curiosity for real estate. I wanted to know about houses. I wanted to know about buildings and condos and all of that stuff. I wanted to know, how did people own them? Me being unstable is what kind of was the backup reality of me wanting to follow my dream and learn more about real estate. And since then, I have no regrets. I've gone full speed ahead, and I love every bit of it. And if I had to do it all over again, the only thing I would do different is I would start earlier.
Wow. That is a powerful story. And it's so interesting because after chatting with your fellow cohort members, many of them have similar journeys where a lot of their childhood stories or even childhood memories or family members are the reasons why they started their businesses. But I do think that it makes our why that much deeper when faced with all of the challenges that come with entrepreneurship. So tell me a little bit about the business. When did you start it, and what sector do you work in? Are you more commercial? Are you more residential? Tell us how your business model works.
I've been a broker since 2005. I jumped in because I bought a couple pieces of property, and I was using an agent, and I was looking like I could do this. So I got licensed and I started working for myself. And I always knew that the overall goal was to open my own brokerage. So I started with some of the larger big box places like Coldwell Banker and Century 21, learning how they established their foundation. And I call it stealing. I wasn't stealing any money or anything, but I was stealing knowledge, the ability to really figure out the basis of these big companies and how they've been long lasting and standing strong. I provide real estate services for residential, commercial, and investors. The commercial piece is new. It's so new. I've been wanting to transition into that realm for a while, and I'm just getting the opportunity, and I'm excited about it because there's so much change in the commercial realm where since COVID and since all of these companies have been working from home and hybrid schedules. So the bigger companies don't have the need for that commercial space. There's going to be a change, and I want to be a part of that change. I want to know what's going to happen with all of this commercial space over the next 5, 10 years and ongoing. And so much so that I have some big things going on for my company, and I'm looking forward to the change. And I'm sure we'll get into that as we talk a little bit more.
Yes, we will. One of the things that I love about what you shared was the fact that you weren't afraid to go and work with some of the bigger companies first. And I actually heard something similar from your cohort members, Brandy, who works in insurance, and she worked with some of the bigger insurance companies. So what were some of the key lessons that you felt like you were able to steal from them? Because I think that for listeners who are, especially maybe a younger generation that don't want to work for anybody, and they're like, I just want to start from the bottom up. What do you feel like were some of the key lessons that you learned from a more corporate experience that you think really positioned you to excel in your business?
I learned a lot. Some of the key things that I took away from working from the bigger places, having great integrity, your work ethic and character. You can't compromise those things for nothing. Who you are is who you are. When you walk in the door, a lot of times your reputation precedes you. You have to be very thorough. You can't be afraid to continue to learn. A lot of people in my industry and a lot of industries, they start off good, they start off strong, but with times change, and you have to be willing to learn and continue to sharpen your skills in order to grow, pivot, and adjust for the times. Those are some of the key things that I learned from these bigger places. And I've always known in order to be a great leader, you have to know how to follow first. You have to. You can't. There's no way around it. And I know that I've always had the personality to be a self-starter and work for myself and work on my own. But I also needed to have a foundation. And what did that look like?
Yeah, absolutely. Now, with you being from Chicago, I always have to tease Chicagoans, and I was joking with your brother Patrice in his cohort last time because when I was in college, I hung out with a lot of people from Chicago, and I felt like everybody owned a building. I'm like, how do all of y'all college students own a building? And it's like everybody said they got property in Chicago, they got a building. And I'm like, are y'all just born with this Chicago hustle? So what do you feel like it is about your environment that just gives you all this ability to really go in and see value in real estate, which I think it comes at such a young age because I have so many friends who have multiple properties in Chicago and are doing very well in that space.
What's cool is when you grow up in Chicago and you're involved and you're active, a lot of times you have older people who kind of impart their wisdom on you, sometimes from their success and sometimes from their failures. A lot of people give you though that insight and that advice based off of what they wish they would have done. They look at the change and the growth in real estate and some of the areas that we grew up in that at one time was considered impoverished, but now they're booming. So a property in the early 80s and early 90s that might have been $25,000, $50,000, that same property might be worth $450,000. And I see it from the scope and the lens of being a broker and an appraiser. So when you have your older cousins and uncles and even your teachers and instructors or fraternity members, and they pull you to the side and they say, hey, this is the direction you need to go in. I know you want your career. I know you want to be great in your industry, but whatever your industry is, continue to strive, but also take a look over here on the real estate side. Get you a building, put a couple tenants in it, make it pay for itself. And then once you're established enough, try to get a second one, try to get a third one. And with the uncertainty with pensions and 401ks, a lot of people give you that wisdom and that insight to say, this can be your retirement. This can begin to establish generational wealth. Whereas even though they may not have done it, they understand the errors of their ways and they want to impart that wisdom on the younger generation. And that's something that I'm doing now. Like the younger people coming up, I push them in that direction. You know how people can be considered a Bible thumper, real estate thumper. I will hit you in the head and say, hey, don't miss these opportunities. Don't miss these opportunities. Chicago people, they really want to see others grow and follow either their successes or avoid some of their failures.
So as a real estate thumper, right? Say we kicking it, summertime shy, whatever the taste of Chicago, I'm up there, and you in my ear talking about real estate. What would you say?
I would tell you, if you're an investor, I know the areas. I'm always looking at projections, what's changing, what's coming, because a lot of times we miss the boom,
Mm,
but we're afraid of what's next and what's coming because it might look a little sketchy.
yeah.
But I take a look at that. And by me being an appraiser, once I start noticing a lot of dilapidated properties being bought up, a lot of land being bought up, or you start seeing excavation happening, you start to wonder and say, okay, they're getting ready to start building up this community, building up this area. So I'll point you in the directions of the areas that a lot of people might be skeptical of, but they will probably bring big dividends and big profits in the near future.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Great advice. So one of the things that I love about this particular cohort compared to some of our other ones is that you all are not necessarily just in the startup phase, you all are in that growth stage, right? So everybody is established business owners and you're really looking to grow and enterprise your businesses. So some of the things that we focus on in the program are three pillars. We talked about collaboration, bankability, supply chain readiness. What were some things that really just grabbed your attention in the last couple of weeks?
Of course, I'm biased, but the gentleman, I don't remember his name, but he was talking about commercial spaces and commercial
Ed
leases.
Ryland.
Yes, he was great. Even though I'm in the industry, you can always pick up little nuggets from other people. And I applaud people who are able to do that because sometimes people feel like I'm an expert in my field and you can't teach me anything. I
Mhm.
do not follow those rules. Ed gave us a lot of really good nuggets, so much so that during the process of the cohort, I have secured new office space for my own companies.
All right.
Yes, I'm excited about it. I really am. I have gotten office space in the Willis Tower, one of the most highly recognized high rises in the world. And it used to
Wow.
be called Sears Tower, but to
Mm.
me, I'm claiming it the Willis
Oh,
Tower.
okay.
That's my building. That's my building.
Right.
Um, I feel like I'm supposed to be there.
Mhm.
And going through the process of securing the lease and everything, a lot of things that Ed was putting in my ear or putting in all of our ear, it came to fruition. So I had to really take into account all of the information that I learned from there. And being in that space is going to allow me to grow. We have to be comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Mhm.
And I've done so well in the residential realm and having a home office, but being in a commercial space with a commercial presence and trying to transition into the commercial realm of real estate, I'm excited about it. And it's going to bring about some networking opportunities that I never knew. So that's a part of the growth, that's a part of the expansion. And then one more thing that really stuck out to me was me thinking that a small business is just me. I'm running the brokerage and the appraisal company, but the cybersecurity was so important.
Yeah.
And you think I'm flying under the radar. Ain't nobody thinking about me. I don't need all of these securities in place and these precautions in place. But that really hit home. So as I am starting the office the first of the year, a lot of the things from the cybersecurity class is going to be front and center and me putting together my computer systems, my software, my securities, my antivirus, all of that stuff. So the whole cohort was amazing, but those were two things that really hit home with me because they're right here and I'm living it.
Yeah, absolutely. I would agree. The cybersecurity is something that a lot of people have said when they saw it on the curriculum. They were just, oh, I might just skip this one. But then when they got there, they were just like, oh my God, they always say the next big thing is going to be a tech hack, right? And so you think, oh, it's just going to be the big companies. But Sherelle really made it so plain where you're like, no, my family needs to have cybersecurity. Like we all need to have this. So I thought that was a good one too. Okay, so let's say a year from now, someone is listening to this because they're considering applying for our next cohort. What is some advice that you would give them?
Somebody that's gonna be new to the cohort and you're busy like me, I would say it is definitely worth the risk. It's worth the sacrifice, not the risk. It's worth the sacrifice. I'm a one-man shop. So when I say my to-do list every day is crazy, and I would tell them that put it on your to-do list. Go ahead and box out a window of time, and it is worth you learning how to grow, worth you learning how to step away from the day-to-day operations and putting other processes in place that will allow you to grow. If you're in the cohort, I'm pretty sure you're probably doing pretty good for yourself, but there's another level. And working with you and with Kyra and with Janet and my cohort members and all of the presenters, it's opened my eyes to show me that don't be complacent. I could continue to skate on the level that I'm on and I'm okay. But to know that there's levels that can be reached and they're possible, the cohort has really opened my eyes to that. And I'm so appreciative of it. We kind of get caught in our own little bubble sometimes, but to see your other peers, the excitement in them and the things that they're doing, and it also opens your eyes to some of your weaknesses, and you have to be accepting of those things. And I know some of my weaknesses. The cohort exposed some of my weaknesses, and I'm not afraid of those weaknesses. It just showed me where I can improve. And if they were to join the cohort, I'm sure we'll do the same thing for them.
I love that. Awesome, guys. Like LeRoy said, this is an opportunity of a lifetime. If you want to stay connected with him and other cohort members, even if you do not apply for our cohort, or if we're in between cohorts, we do have an amazing online community which anyone can become a part of. It is the SmartCEO Mighty Network community, which you can connect with other like-minded smart CEOs, as well as our strategic partners, like our current sponsoring partner, JP Morgan. You can join by visiting smartceos.com. And so thank you again, LeRoy, for your time. We appreciate your contributions to the conversations and your participation. And thank you all for listening, and we look forward to seeing you on the other side.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to Smart Chat. Smart CEOs, you are on your way. We hope this episode has been fantastic for you. We are excited that you were here. So here's the deal. Follow us on all of our social media, look up the Kyra Company, and join us on all of our private platforms. We invite you to join our private Facebook group at the Smart CEOs. Jump in, join the conversation, and learn more about what we can do every day to grow our business and grow our community. Thanks so much for joining us. We're excited that you were here. Once again, I'm Kyra Hardwick, and you know it. I was thrilled to bring the Smart Chat to you. Take care. Talk to you soon.